A Legacy of Light, the life and final moments of Alex Pretti. Some lives pass quietly. Others leave a mark so deep that even in death, their presence continues to guide, to teach, to heal. As America continues to absorb the shock of yet another tragic loss, one voice has emerged, not in anger, not in accusation, but in remembrance. A voice filled with grief, gratitude, and a profound sense of loss. It belongs to a young nurse still learning her craft, who stood beside a man she now calls not only her mentor but her friend. Her words have stopped people in their tracks. Because the more we learn about Alex Pretti, the clearer one truth becomes. This was not just a man who worked in healthcare. This was a man who lived to care for others. I was Alex Pretti's final nursing student, wrote Jessica Hauser in a heartfelt post that has since spread far beyond her own circle. He was my friend. He was my nursing mentor. For 4 intense months, Jessica stood shoulder to shoulder with Alex during her capstone preceptorship at the Minneapolis VA hospital. This was not a classroom. This was not theory. This was the front line of medicine, the ICU, where every decision can mean the difference between life and death. Here, Alex trained her to care for the sickest of the sick, patients whose lives hung by threads, patients surrounded by machines that breathed for them, monitored them, sustained them, patients who needed not only skill but steadiness. Alex taught her how to manage arterial lines and central lines, how to coordinate multiple IVs, each delivering a different life-saving solution, how to monitor heart rhythms, oxygen levels, blood pressure, every vital sign that tells the story of a body fighting to survive. But more than technique, Alex taught vigilance. He taught her how to watch every heartbeat, every breath, every subtle change that signals trouble, and to be ready to act instantly the moment something wavered. These were not acts of harm. They were techniques intended to heal. Jessica describes Alex not as loud or commanding, but as steady. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him, she wrote. In the ICU, panic is contagious. Fear spreads fast. Stress can overwhelm even experienced professionals. But Alex was different. He was calm when alarms blared, focused when moments turned critical, present when others felt overwhelmed. That calm was not indifference, it was mastery. It was care, disciplined by experience. And even at the very end, during the final moments that would later be seen on video, that same calm was still there. Jessica recognized it instantly. His familiar stillness, his signature composure. A man who had spent his life easing the suffering of others did not abandon that role, even when his own life was in danger. What were Alex Pretti's final words? Not anger, not fear, not protest. Are you okay? Those 3 words tell a story no political argument ever could. They reveal a man whose instincts were not rooted in violence but in concern. A man whose reflex, even in crisis, was to check on someone else. It does not surprise me, Jessica wrote. Caring for people was at the core of who he was. She makes it clear Alex was incapable of causing harm. This was a man who lived a life of healing and lived it well. Alex was not without beliefs. He did not drift passively through the world. He believed strongly in the Constitution of the United States and the rights rooted in it, including the Second Amendment. But these beliefs were not weapons. They were principles. He spoke out for justice and peace wherever he could, not out of obligation, not out of performance, but because he believed something deeply human, that we are more connected than divided, that communication, not force, brings people together. Alex was the kind of person who could hold firm beliefs and still listen, who could disagree without dehumanizing, who could stand his ground without standing over others. In a time when shouting often replaces conversation, that alone made him rare. Jessica's message is not only about grief, it is about inheritance. I want his family to know his legacy lives on, she wrote. She is a better nurse because of Alex. A steadier nurse. A more compassionate one. Every patient she treats now carries a trace of his teaching. Every room she enters carries his influence. I carry his light with me into every room, she said, letting it guide and steady my hands as I heal and care for those in need. That is how legacies survive, not in statues, not in slogans, but in people. Jessica ends her tribute not with demands, but with invitations. Please honor my friend by standing up for peace, she wrote. She paints a picture of the small human details Alex loved. A cup of black coffee. A couple pieces of candy in his pocket. Reminders, she says, that caring for others is hard work and that we need small comforts to get through long shifts. She urges people to step outside, walk with their dog, breathe in the world, to hike or bike, as Alex loved to do, to find peace in quiet moments within nature, and perhaps most importantly, stand up for justice and speak with those whose views differ from your own. Hold your beliefs with strength, but always extend love outward, even in the face of adversity. Take one step, she writes, no matter how small, to help heal our world. Not a revolution, not a grand gesture, just one step. Through these acts, she says, carry his light forward. Let his legacy continue to heal. America did not just lose a man, it lost a caregiver, a mentor, a quiet stabilizing force in a loud and fractured time. When someone like Alex Pretti is killed, the loss ripples outward through hospitals, through students, through patients who will never know his name but will feel his absence in ways they cannot explain. We do not have to descend into nihilism. We do not have to surrender to hatred. There is another path. We can heed the better angels of our nature. We can choose care over cruelty, understanding over assumption, humanity over fear. In remembering Alex Pretti, we are reminded of what is still possible even in darkness. And perhaps that is his final lesson to all of us.